Morning, everyone. Okay, mostly when we talk about crimes, or as we are now talking about crimes against children, we talk about incidents in the United States. However, that is not exactly fair because although most of my listeners are situated in the United States, these kind of incidents of parents or caretakers or adults attacking or killing children happens everywhere, all over the world. And for now, we are going to pay attention to such incidents elsewhere, other than the United States. Now, today we are going to talk about Lola James, a 2-year-old girl who was fatally attacked in her own home in Pembrokeshire, Wales, England. Lola James suffered 101 bruises and scratches to her body, injuries to both her eyes, and extensive brain damage in the early hours of July 17, 2020, and she died 4 days later in hospital. Carl Bevan, 31, Lola James's mother's boyfriend, denied a charge of murder, claiming that the family dog knocked Lola James down the stairs. Today we are going to deal with the case a little differently, and instead of just telling the story, we are going to give you the timeline. On September 30th, 2017, Lola James was born. January 2020, a multi-agency referral is submitted by a health visitor, Leslie Stedman, after reports of a domestic incident involving Sinead James's former partner at her home. On February the 10th, 2020, Ms. Stedman carries out her last face-to-face visit with Sinead James at the property due to the coronavirus lockdown. She said she raised concerns about the condition of the house, and Sinead James, raised concerns about Lola's behavior and said that she thought that the toddler may have ADHD. Still February 2020, Bevan and James, Bevan now being the new boyfriend, strike up a relationship online, and then Kyle Bevan moved in with Sinead James and her children at their home in Pembrokeshire only a day after meeting each other. He remains in the house throughout the first months of COVID. April 19th, Facebook message between Bevan and James reveal that Lola suffered a bloodied nose while in Bevan's care when Sinead James, was in a different room. April the 26th, 2020, a Facebook message between the two showed that Lola suffered a grazed chin while in Bevan's care. He blames it on her having fallen over. May the 4th, 2020, Bevan sent Sinead James a message saying Lola cut her lip by falling from her bed while he was in the room. May 14th, 2020, Bevan used a hammer to smash up parts of the house and tried headbutting Sinead James. James flees with Lola and went to a friend's house, Casey Morgan. May 15, 2020, Bevan messaged Sinead James and apologized for his behavior, saying, "I feel like a monster." July 5th, 2020, Sinead James's friend, Casey Morgan, sees Lola with bruised legs while in the park. July 7th, 2020, Miss Morgan witnesses Kyle Bevan pushing a pram carrying Lola into the road in anger. She believes he was under the influence of drugs. July 9th, 2020, Lola sustains an injury to the bridge of her nose, which also causes her eyes to appear bruised. Kyle claims she fell off the sofa onto the coffee table. July 16th, 2020, Sinead James claims she went to bed between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m., leaving Lola with Kyle Bevan. July 16th, 2020. Bevan stays up late with Lola, taking pictures of her using Snapchat filters. He claims that he then put her to bed. July 17th, 2020. Minutes after midnight, Sinead James says she heard a bang and a scream and found Bevan comforting Lola in her bedroom. He said Lola has hit her head, but he is dealing with it. Sinead James went back to bed. At 4:26 a.m., Lola is known to be conscious and upright because of a picture Bevan takes of the injuries on her back. At 6:32 a.m., Bevan begins to search the internet for information about babies sustaining head impacts. Police later believes this is an indication that the assault had just taken place. At 6:37 a.m., Bevan takes a screenshot of a website providing him with clear guidance that he should seek emergency medical help if a child displays symptoms such as excessive bruising or swelling or loss of consciousness. At 6:38 to 6:39 a.m., Bevan took 2 photos showing that Lola's head, eyes, and lips were extremely swollen and bruised, and she appears to be unconscious. At 6:40 a.m., Bevan calls his mother, Alison Bevan, but she does not answer. He claims he did so because she is a nurse. Miss Bevan is in fact a non-medically trained healthcare support worker. Kyle Bevan kept trying to contact his mother and sending photos he had taken of Lola. She is asleep and does not reply until 6:55 a.m. Seeing the pictures, she immediately tells her son to take Lola to hospital. At 6:58 a.m., Bevan sends his mother a disturbing 22-second film of him trying to prop up a clearly unconscious and injured Lola. When she inevitably falls to the floor with a thud, he comments, "She's gone, she's gone." At 7 a.m., Miss Bevan sends another message urging her son to wake Sinead James up and seek help. She continues to send messages for 13 minutes, but he doesn't reply. At around 7:20 a.m., Sinead James says Bevan woke her up and tells her Lola had fallen down the stairs and showed her a piece of tongue on his finger. Sinead James calls her mother, Lola James, at 7:26 a.m. At 7:28 a.m., an hour after the internet searches, Bevan asked his mother, Mrs. Bevan, to call an ambulance. He said he cannot make the call himself and tells his mother he has told Sinead James he has called for an ambulance already. At 7:29 a.m., emergency service operators receive a 999 call from Mrs. Bevan. At 7:30 a.m., Sinead James makes an NHS 3 call, during which she describes Lola's face being swollen and saying she is really scared. Kyle Bevan begins to take photographs again and videos of Lola, who is still unconscious, unresponsive, and visibly injured, lying on the sofa. At 7:32 a.m., an ambulance is dispatched to Lola's home address. At 7:33 a.m., Sinead James misses 4 calls from the ambulance as she remains on the line to NHS 3. 7:34 a.m., paramedics arrive at the scene. At that stage, Lola is unconscious but alive. Carl tells the paramedics, "I think the dog tripped her over." Lola is transferred by ambulance to Withybush Hospital in Haverfordwest. Carl got aggressive with doctors who asked questions about Lola's injuries. Lola was then transferred to University Hospital Wales, UHW, in Cardiff, and arrives there at 11:15 a.m. At 11:17 a.m., police arrived at the scene, capturing their conversation with Bevan through body camera. Carl Bevan claims Lola was pushed down the stairs by the dog and said he only feels partly responsible because he was busy making her a bowl of cereal. What a nice guy. Anyway, 3:15 p.m. Kyle sends Sinead James a message asking her what she is going to tell the police. He was making sure she would give an account consistent with his. At 4:34 p.m., Sinead James was arrested at the UHW on suspicion of child neglect. At 4:37 p.m., Kyle Bevan is also arrested at a neighbour's house. Dr. Nia John, who works at UHW's Pediatric Critical Care Unit, visits Lola at 5 p.m. and notes 101 surface injuries to her body. She also notes swelling to the toddler's head, eyes, and lips, and bleeding from her ears. She considers Lola's injuries to be highly suspicious and non-accidental. July 17, 2020, police investigators attend the house and find that despite the fact that the property is generally dirty and untidy, the bath is indeed spotless, as if it was recently cleaned. Officers recover Lola's wet, vomit and blood-stained grey onesie, which was found in the corner of the living room. Kyle sent abusive texts to Lola's father, Dan Thomas. On the 21st of July 2020, Lola dies at UHW in Cardiff at 1:18 p.m. She was only 2 years and 10 months old. On the 18th of January 2021, Carl Bevan is arrested again on suspicion of murder. On the 25th of January 2021, Sinead James is arrested on suspicion of murder and released on conditional bail. On the 21st of April 2022, Carl Bevan was arrested and charged with murder, and James was arrested and charged for allowing the death of a child, respectively. On the 22nd of April 2022, both appear at the Magistrates' Court. Carl Bevan is remanded back in custody and James is remanded into custody for her own safety after receiving threats from community members. On the 29th of June 2022, Bevan and James plead not guilty to the charges against them. Carl Bevan, however, remains in custody while Sinead James is released on conditional bail. On the 7th of March 2023, the 4-week trial begins. On the 4th of April 2023, the jury returns its verdicts after only 10 hours, finding them both guilty on all charges. Lola's father, Daniel Thomas, said in his statement that he would never stop hurting. It's been a long time coming to see justice, and I can only pray that these cruel, evil people that hurt you and allowed you to be hurt suffer pain and torment until they take their last breath, he said. Mr. Thomas added that the pain and grief I feel every time I close my eyes and see your perfect little face is unbearable. Even to say your name shatters my heart. I'm sorry that your short life was filled with so much pain. You are so loved, Lola, and so missed every single day. Well, Mr. Thomas, question from my side. Where were you when your child was battered and bruised? Did you not see her for a couple of months, or did you plainly ignore it? Either way, I do think that dear Mr. Thomas has to take some responsibility. Lola's grandmother, Lola James, said the 2-year-old would forever be our diamond up in the sky. Yes, Mrs. James, where were you? We will never ever forget her, and we will continue to keep her memory alive. We write her letters and talk to her in the sky at night, Nicholas said. Well, Nicola. You should have spoken to her while she was alive, and maybe written her notes then. Sinead James was warned that Kyle was dangerous just 8 days before he carried out the fatal attack by his ex-partner through Facebook, saying that she was concerned about the fact that he is around a child. Sinead James was sentenced to 6 years in jail. Kyle Bevan was sentenced to life in jail with a minimum term of 28 years. Well, I do hope that he rots in there. Now, please, people, look out for children's welfare. This friend of Sinead James, why didn't you speak up? Why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you call 999? I mean, I'm sure you're thinking about it now, but it's too late. And I don't want to place blame on everybody and anybody. We do not know their circumstances. But that is exactly why I'm saying, if you see something, say something. Do not wait until it's too late. Okay, guys, so this was a bad one, and I'll put a trigger warning in the description box as well. So please, please keep your eyes and ears open. We need to protect our children. Our children are our future. And do not think because you're in Britain or Germany or wherever you are, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, that your children or the children around you are safe. This kind of thing happens all over the world. It is really an epidemic, or shall we call it a pandemic, and we need to stop it right now. Okay, guys and girls, that was it from me for today. I'll see you on here again soon. Bye.